With Pluribus being one of the best shows on TV right now, and it being the one that I'm hooked on the most following episode 3 recently being released, it got me thinking a lot about the virus that's plagued the world and took over every single mind other than a select few like Carol. With us hearing that Carol could also get anything that she wanted from the hive mind people during the end of the 3rd episode, it made me think how that could be connected to a way that Carol might be able to save the world from this virus's hold. So with that, I wanted to dive into the virus, theorize about what caused it, share all that's known about it, and answer if there's a way that Carol might be able to cure the rest of the world. So let's get into it. When the virus first started its rapid expansion on Earth, we saw that there were multiple different reactions and responses to the virus that the human hosts ended up having, and even the rats. There were 3 different responses that occurred. The first is what impacted most of the planet. This was that once coming into contact with it, they'd begin fitting in an erratic state, then they'd be perceived to be dead because they were seen to be unconscious. But as we know from the rats, the human's heartbeat would be beating at a rapid pace. And then from there, the final stage would occur, which would have the human waking up, and they'd be under the control of the new mind virus connecting an individual's mind with every other person on the planet. It's kind of like everybody's mind being uploaded into one big cloud. Outside of that, there was the second response. This response saw the death of 800 million people on the planet, and most importantly to Carol, the love of her life, Helen. For some people, the expansion of the virus caught them at the wrong time, and it meant that when they entered the first stage of the virus, the fitting stage, they could have been doing something where they weren't in a safe position to facilitate this fit. They could have been driving, or as we saw with Helen's case, she was simply standing up. We didn't find out why it was that Helen actually died, but I think there could be 2 reasons that she did. The first is that when she fell back due to the fitting, she hit her head on the concrete ground. And that might well have been the reason as to why she died. It did look like she hit her head pretty hard, so that could explain it. Or it could be like how with most viruses, people respond differently to them based on different factors such as their immune system, age, and other environmental factors. Sometimes people just aren't healthy enough or strong enough to fight them off. And that could be what happened with the likes of Helen. So the second response to the virus was death, either caused by a weaker immune system or the repercussions of the fitting, as 1/10 of the population were essentially wiped out. Then the third response was the one that was the most rare of them all, and this was present for just over a handful of people on the planet, including Carol. For most people, they caught the virus through a wide array of different ways. We saw it spread through kissing. We saw it spread with saliva being present on food and other beverages, and it seemed like the planes were also spreading it across the entirety of the country, which meant that it was able to be ingested through the air. However, for Carol, she was exposed to it outside like how Helen was, but she wasn't infected. And she was also kissed by the doctor, which was how Jen originally spread the virus, and she wasn't infected then either. This showed that she's immune to it in every way possible. We don't know why it is that she's immune to the virus, but it could just be as simple as it doesn't want to take to her. There are some theories going around that it could be connected to the fact that she was framed as the most miserable person on Earth, but I don't truly think that's the case unless it's altered her biological makeup. The reason I don't think it's the case is because when looking at the other survivors on the planet, there weren't really any similarities between herself and them, even when it came to the mood and anger that she had, so I just think there must be something rare about the ones that couldn't get infected. I do think there will be a reason though, but it'll probably be revealed with time. Can the virus be destroyed? Well, I'd say there are 2 main weaknesses that we've seen so far when it comes to the happiness hive mind virus. The first is that considering it's a virus that basically makes everybody connected as one and in a state of what's been described as paradise, the thing that renders it to the point of fitting is when anger and frustration is used against it. We saw this happen on 2 occasions. The first was when Carol screamed at Zosa when she was by her car in episode 2. And the second occasion was where Carol did the same thing again, but in Bilbao when they were leaning over her to make sure that she was okay. I do find it quite interesting that the opposite reaction to how the virus makes you feel is something that makes everybody on the planet that's under its control rendered to the state of fitting and almost frozen. It's like when that negative emotion is being thrown towards them in a personal space, they don't quite know how to handle it, almost overwhelming the sheer amount of minds and ultimately causing that reaction. The second weakness that it feels like the virus has is that the hive mind is essentially prepared to give Carol anything that she wants in the world as long as it makes her happy. Their main focus is to make her content and comfortable, and this could be something that comes to the detriment of them. We know that the virus has a biological imperative to spread, but is there a biological and moral complex present if Carol simply asks them to work on a cure and to stop working on how to recruit Carol into a part of the hive mind? Let's say their biological imperative prevents them from not stopping on working on a way to recruit Carol, as that would pretty much go against the entire point of their existence to simply spread. But they might be able to work on a cure for the virus alongside doing that, because that would then keep Carol happy, which connects into them wanting to do anything for her. So I wonder if there's some paradoxical method that could get broken in order for Carol to progress forward with that. Outside of that, we've not really seen any real weaknesses that the virus has. It's just mainly the anger and frustration. When it comes to a cure for the virus, though, one would probably imagine that there's something within Carol's makeup that could potentially be used as an antidote of some kind or a vaccine. So I wonder if we'll see that being explored. The real question about this virus, though, is what's the point of it? We know that it has a biological imperative to spread, and once it's spread and placed the entire population's mind under one umbrella, it provides peace, removes crime, and makes the planet more environmentally friendly. But why? Well, there have been a couple of different alien theories about this. The first is that this could well have been the recipe that was found and sent from another planet that was taken over, with world peace being something that it brought about. So the biological imperative side for spreading that makes up the virus could have transmitted the signal once taken over a different species from a planet 600 light years away. This could have just been put out there with the hopes of getting picked up and then providing peace to an entirely different planet. The virus in Pluribus is quite difficult to truly understand because there hasn't been much revealed about it in general, its origin, its weaknesses, and even its history, so a lot of it is just merely speculation based on what it is that we've seen. And piecing together information, I did go to a Q&A which had Vince Gilligan there last week, and when asked about where it came from and what it is, he had tight lips and wasn't prepared to reveal if it was aliens or not. So even he isn't prepared to reveal anything right now. Pluribus has been ordered for 2 seasons from the off, but I think I remember hearing from Vince Gilligan somewhere that there's at least a 4-season run that he has in mind for the story. So I think it might be some time until we truly understand everything that there is to know about the virus. However, for now we can simply theorize because that can often be the most fun thing about it. So if you've got any theories, then throw them in the comments. So there you have it, Pluribus the Virus Explained. If you want to see more videos on Pluribus, then check the playlist below. I'm covering every episode of the show, so be sure to subscribe. What do you think the origin of the virus is? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next.